Good afternoon, everybody. It's Texas here. Just want to do a video of recent pickups, and this is kind of dating towards the end of December to today, Leap Day. And I hope you all are having a great Leap Day. I appreciate you all for always checking out my videos and the usual stuff. Please like and subscribe, etc., etc. So I'm gonna go ahead and get us started with a bunch of stuff that I bought that I have seen, and then we'll get into the ones that I haven't seen. So first up is the Arrow Blu-ray limited edition of the Warriors, which has both cuts in it, the theatrical cut and the 2005 alternate version. I grew up with this movie when I was a wee teenager, and I love it. And so, speaking of the Warriors, there's going to be a watch along on Cinephile Sanity's channel on April 12th. It's a birthday bash for who? I don't know. I'm not going to spill any secrets. So, the second one we have is one of my favorite John Cassavetes films, Gloria, which stars his wife, Jenna Rollins. This is a brilliant, really good film. Also features Buck Henry. She is a woman who's sort of she becomes sort of an assassin after a friend that she knows, his family is killed by the mob. And then she has to take more matters into her own hands when one of the last kid of the family that was left alive, she has to take care of him, which is something she doesn't want to do. But ultimately, she takes him under her wing, and she protects him at any cost. And it's a really good movie, and like I said, one of my favorite John Cassavetes films. Next up is a new Christmas staple, Violent Night, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen and whatnot. Very good film. It's about how Santa himself has to sort of become an assassin, and it's a good one. The next two are some goofy comedies that I like. I got them, for a cheap price, and it's Horrible Bosses. They have the unrated and the rated cut on it, as well as Horrible Bosses 2, which has the same. I'm sure these movies are streaming, so I don't really have to talk about them. You can, look them up if you want to see them, And then next up is Sisu. This one is incredible, about this man who finds some gold, and then he has to deal with a bunch of Nazis, and he's like a one-man, wrecking machine. It's very good stuff. It's Finnish, but it's in English, and it's very, very, very good for an action movie. Highly recommended. Next up is another action flick that everybody knows the series, John Wick 4. Will there be a John Wick 5? I don't know, but this one's pretty good. And especially when he's pretty much gonna have to, risk his life, because of all the hits that are out on him. And it's got Donnie Yen in it, he's amazing as this blind assassin. It's very good. Next up is one of my favorite movies of last year, Asteroid City. It's by Wes Anderson. I'm pretty much a Wes Anderson mark. I like everything that he's done, and this was no exception. It's got Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman, a lot of his usual suspects, and it's very, very good. Next one up is another Wes Anderson from the year before, French Dispatch. This one, of course, has Bill Murray, and he's in most of his movies. Frances McDormand, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton. It's about a like a newspaper, and there's some shenanigans that go on with it, and it's fun. Like I said, I'm just kind of doing these as quick as I can because I don't want to bore you guys with everything. You're probably just bored already because I was like, well, this is good, which they are. I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't like to steer people on movies. If I don't like it, I'll say this is a piece of crap. But you know, I'm just like I said, trying to get through this. Next up is one of my all-time David Cronenberg movies, Shivers. First time I saw this, I just thought it was amazing. It's about kind of like a parasite that somehow starts infecting people, and they all go crazy, and they want to have like really violent sex. And it's I think this was pretty much the first kind of body horror that he did up until like I think the next one was Rabid, and he's notorious for his body horror stuff. So that is all the first ones down of the ones that I've seen, and then we have the ones that I haven't seen, which I will. But the first one up is Nefarious. I've heard great things about it, and so it's pretty cheap, and I picked it up. Actually, I forgot this next one. Well, there are still a few that I've seen and I haven't seen, but Nefarious I have seen. Kind of mixed up some of the things. But the next one, I saw this in the theater. The Boogans. This one just got released by Kino Lorber on a Blu-ray and I believe a 4K as well. This is about a monster that's been living in a mining town and gets released from the mine, and people start disappearing. And it's a fun movie. CK, Creepy Kentuckian, reviewed this on the Dead Pit channel, and there's a few others that I'll be talking about that he did as well. Up next is another one that I really liked last year, Consecration with Jenna Malone, where her brother is a priest and he gets killed by someone, and so she goes to try to figure out what happened to him, and so she becomes a nun, and there's a lot of like interesting things about her, and then about the church that she's being the nun in, because there's a lot of deceit, lies, deception, things of that sort on who killed her brother and what happened. It's a very good movie. It's on Shudder as well. But yeah, I thought her performance was amazing. So next are some of the titles in the new Kino Lorber Kino Cult series. The first one is a Jess Franco movie called Lorna the Exorcist. These were the ones that CK kind of reviewed on the Dead Pit channel as well. I'm looking forward to this one. Franco he's got some wacky stuff, and this is probably no exception. It's number 1 in the series. I'm really looking forward to these and collecting these, as Dirk is from Subjective Perspective Collective. They are supposedly Kino Cult, that is supposedly going to release the Ilsa films, and so I've been looking forward to those for years. Usually they're imports and they're kind of hard to find, or the price is too much, so I'm kind of like waiting for them to release them, because that was on their docket, at least that I knew, so hopefully they'll be coming out soon. The next one is a Lash LaRue film, the cowboy actor, and this one is Dark Power, or I'm sorry, Alien Outlaw. Whoops. So this one, just looks pretty crazy. Um, a UFO crash lands in the Appalachian backcountry, and it releases a squad of interstellar predators. So yeah, you know, good one for me right there. And then this next one is another Lash LaRue and Lash LaRue Dark Power. Oh, getting to be a mouthful here. So yeah, this one looks kind of weird too. But it's directed by the same guy, Phil Smoot, and I'm just can't wait to see it. So it actually has. It says the cinematography was done by Paul Hewen from The Mandalorian. So should be some good stuff. And then after this is another Franco film called Sinner: The Secret Diary of a Nymphomaniac. Um, this is something that I don't know what to expect with this one, but there's some. I know it's going to be pretty interesting because most of its stuff is. And so I was going to say that number 5, which I have not picked up yet, is a movie called Underworld, also known as Transformation. That's the first one that they released on a 4K, with the Blu-ray. So I'm going to be picking that one up soon. So the next things that I picked up is number 6 in the Kino Cult series, Drifter. This is just released. This, by everything that I read about it, is a kind of one of these films, an exploitation, or maybe possibly a sexploitation film that came out in 1974. And apparently the world really wasn't ready for it. And so I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I'll give it a shot. And then speaking of kind of, I can say this is maybe a sexploitation a little bit, but it's also a huge was a huge deal back in the day, but it's become kind of a classic, and that's William Friedkin's Cruising with Al Pacino. Pacino is not over the top in this one, which is a good thing. I've seen this a couple of times. I actually like it, but I remember all the hubbub and crazy things about it when I think I was about 14 when this came out. And the one thing that, there was a lot of good music in here and stuff. And the Germs had recorded about, I think, 4 songs for it to be included, and they wound up only using one or something. So, that was kind of a bummer. I would have liked to have heard all the songs, at least in the film. And then the last one here is Burnt Offerings. This has Oliver Reed, Betty Davis. It's about a thriller about kind of a haunted house, and there's a lot of things that go on. And Karen Black is also in this, and I've seen it a bunch, but it's been a couple of decades actually since I've watched it. Directed by Dan Curtis, who did Trilogy of Terror with Karen Black, and I'm looking forward to it. It's seems that it's gonna be a good revisit and whatnot. So that was it as far as new pickups that I've picked up, and then there's a couple of other things. As I had mentioned earlier, Dirk and also Darren from Subjective Perspective Collective, they've had this great guest, Richard Glenn Schmidt, on their show a couple of times. So I picked up his books, Giallo Meltdown, one where it's like a movie-thon diary where him and his wife and friends just went through and watched a ton of Giallos. And so when he did that, he decided that, it was always in the back of his mind that he was going to put out another one, which he just recently did, Giallo Meltdown 2. Um, I've started reading the first one, and it's great, really good. It's pretty thorough in a lot of things, but it's got some of the best and funniest anecdotes. And so I give a tip of my hat that I'm not wearing to him for doing this and making these books. And so yeah, definitely check those out. And he has a channel also, I believe. Um, Also, just want to give shout outs again to Subjective Perspective Collective for the shows that they do. Um, Also for Cinephile Sanity, Sean and Juno and I, we do weekly watch alongs. Our next one is Saturday, where we'll be doing it's the 40th anniversary of Repo Man, and then Sunday we'll be doing Videodrome. I'd also like to give props to Chris, the slasher dude. He mentioned me in one of his recent videos, and that was really cool. I was really, really surprised and honored that he did that for me and gave me that mention. So yeah, definitely, I'm gonna, of course, be tagging everyone, but I hope that you guys check out their channels and join us. And we also one more is two. Well, I could mention everybody, but I do want to give a couple of shout outs to Hatchet Boys. That's another channel that I'm on watch along sometimes. P. Rich, he does a lot of watch alongs himself. Um, Also, Goraphobe and Chris the Slasher Dude, as I mentioned, of course. Mikey's Morgue. We have the Queen of Horror herself, Mayanne. 4K Tent Revival, Brad. There's so many, that I would just be here making a list, and everybody would pass out if they've not already passed out. So you guys have a good weekend. I've got a couple of other unboxings and things coming up, and I just want to say that once again, I appreciate all of you guys for checking me out, and stay scared.